What's up, bro family? Listen, I am here with the great Carter Lane. And the reason I have Carter on here is because I get these questions all the time in my DMs on social media, even in my live events about LLCs and entities and so forth. So I wanted to bring the man, the expert, the one and only Carter Lane to have a discussion with me today to unpack all of the questions that I normally get. And Carter, what I did is I took notes of some of the frequently asked questions that I normally get from my community, my students or family members. And I'm going to pose those questions to you so that you can answer them and share your insights from your perspective as an expert in this field, so that we can help everyone that are looking to do this. I teach people how to get involved in real estate, how to start real estate, how to do their first deal. We have students from all over the country, even internationally. And I want to share how they can get involved in this business, the pros, the cons, the benefits of this, and dive into all of those questions that I have here in my notes here for you. So why don't we kick things off, Carter, by introducing yourself, let everyone know who you are and what qualifies you to be an expert on this topic.
Yeah, so again, Carter Lane, you did a very good job introducing me. So I'm with Ascent Financial. Just a brief story. I mean, your students are watching this, or people that follow you are watching this for a reason, right? Something's happened in their lives, or something is happening in our lives that make us pivot. And we take a look at, okay, the things that we're doing right now are not working. And so we need to do something different. They reach out to you, the best at what you do, to walk them through a process of changing their financial future. My story is really no different. Mine came from a lot of pain and grief. I had a mother who worked for a company called Freddie Mac back in prior to 2008. She followed all of the advice back then, which was put your money in company stock, don't get diversified, don't have self-directed retirement accounts, don't structure yourself with proper entities. And so we all know what happens in 2008. She shows up to work one Monday morning and the doors are locked. My mother in one day lost $750,000 million. Shortly thereafter, she lost the traditional real estate because it wasn't structured the right way. So that sent me on a journey of, how does this not happen to me? At this point, I'm newly married. I have little kids. I'm freaking out. This is a woman that was worth millions of dollars at one point. At the age of 62, she passes away with no money. And so it put me on a journey to figure out how to protect myself. So I studied asset protection, started my first firm, got into things like self-directed retirement accounts. And so here I am today. I travel the country and I speak to, gentlemen like yourself and students like the folks that you have at this particular event or other events that you're going to be having in the future. And we educate them. So my hope is that we can put people into a position where they have the education, they can make decisions based on fact and figure and law, what the government says that we're able to do, so that we can be, the top 1%, the top 2% of people. Because here's a sad statistic, 83% of people that retire at the age of 65, they go back to work within 3 years. Why is that? Because they have a job, they have, the traditional retirement accounts, they don't have business, they're not self-employed, they don't know real estate. And so just like yourself, I'm here to help individuals, educate them so that they don't have to fear of outliving their money. They're structured the right way. They don't lose stuff if something happens. And so that's kind of, that's been a 15-year process for me.
Yeah, making money is one thing, and we teach how to make money, and Carter helps you keep the money with the right structures and the asset protection and so forth, which is very important. Many people forget when you get into this category, your lifestyle changes. You're making a lot of money. There are other conversations and things that you need to have in place so that you can keep the hard-earned money that you've earned through this maybe newfound business that you've launched and so forth. So, Carter, let's go ahead and dive into that and have a discussion about that. Although I teach real estate, and although you don't need to have an entity or an LLC to do a deal or your first deal, we highly recommend that you do. Can you share with our audience here, why do you recommend an LLC or an entity, whatever the right structure might be, and what are the benefits of having an entity?
Sure. So here's what happens to most people. Now, I'm going to back up. Yes, you're absolutely right. You can be a sole proprietor. You can just be a normal, guy or gal that wants to, buy some property or whatever. Here's the problem with that. If you're going to be doing it for more than just like one deal, what happens to most people is they take their hard-earned money, right? Most people have a job. They, when they get paid, what happens? Taxes come out of that money. Then they take their already taxed money and they go and they invest it into a real estate deal, or they go purchase land, or whatever it is, whatever you're teaching them. And then once they make their money, they bring it back. What happens to them again? They're taxed again. It's called capital gains taxes. And then they take that taxed again money, they go out and they invest, reinvest, make more money, bring it back. And it's this constant taxation. So most people are paying about 43% in taxes annually on certain deals like this. And sometimes it's worse than that. Legally, we don't have to do that. Now, why we set up structures like LLCs, S corps, C corps, depending. And again, this is going to be very important for your family, your students, your followers to spend some time with us one-on-one, because everybody's situation is different. We're all in a different spot. We're all heading to the same destination, which is financial stability and security, retirement. I think it's fair to say. But there's different paths to do that. So what might be good for one person as far as like an LLC structuring with, an S corp above it or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of different variations to that. And so the good news is that we're professionals and we'll be able to sit down and kind of guide them on specifically what that individual needs. But why do we do that? For the tax savings. I don't legally want to have to pay 43% annually in taxes if legally I only have to pay 6 or 12 or 8. Jeff Bezos just came out, he paid less than 1% in taxes. Why? Because he uses the tools and the structures that the IRS and the government put out. We just use them very, very well. And so that's why we do it. So for the tax savings, as well as the asset protection. Heaven forbid something happens, right? We purchase a piece of real estate, we turn it into a rental, whatever, something happens and someone tries to sue us, well, we're protected in a way that they can't come and get all this stuff that we've worked very hard for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What would you say are the steps to getting this process started, the steps to setting up your entity? And can it also all be done online if someone were doing this from another country, let's say?
Yeah, so we set up individuals, we set up individuals, entities in different structures that live out of the country. We do it for them because we have to build them in the United States. And so we do that for them. The people in the United States, we still do that for them. So yes, can you do it by yourself online? Yes, it's because of the specific, there's so many different types. So for someone to kind of guess their way through it is probably not, the best plan for them, if that makes sense. So allow us to do that for you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's lots of resources to try and stumble through it online on your own. But as Carter also shared, everyone's situation is unique and different. And you may be going down a path that may not be best suited for you and your ultimate goals and needs. And so it's best to talk to a professional, talk to an expert, and see if this is right for you. Ultimately, yes, you can create an LLC here in America to do business here in America, regardless of where you might be in the world, and they can help talk you through the right process, the right path, based on your goals, based on the resources that you have to accomplish what you're looking to do. So thank you so much for that. Now, if someone was looking for, let's say, privacy and anonymity, what are the best states that you recommend setting up an LLC for that particular individual?
Again, there's so many depending on their specific situation. I mean, you've got Nevada, you have Wyoming, you have Arizona. I mean, they're depending on what your individual, what the client or what the person is looking for. But some of them, yes, are specifically suited for the anonymity. Wyoming is one of them. Nevada is another one. But an LLC in itself, and again, depending on trust and other things, Delaware is another one. But depending on what they're trying to do, right, we can add a trust inside of that, which protects it. Your name's not on it. It's like nobody can Google, Dolmar Trust and, find your information. So there are certain states, Wyoming, Nevada, Delaware, are probably the 3 top for anonymity.
What are some of the mistakes or major mistakes, maybe even misconceptions that you think that people have about setting up an LLC or mistakes they've gone through, in this process that have cost them a lot?
So one thing comes to mind. people, again, without the proper education, they may know a little bit, or they may hear a little bit. They don't reach out for guidance or direction. And so they're like, oh, I'm going to go set up a C Corp. I hear a lot of problems with that. In my world, I mean, again, C Corps are perfect for the individual that needs a C Corp. S Corps are perfect for those individuals, LLCs, those types of things. But, I have individuals, we start sitting down, we start digging into, their structure and why it's not working properly. And we find out that they've structured this crazy C Corp with all of these things that they don't get, with all of these trusts and all. And then they're wondering why they have this huge tax liability at the end of the year. Like, I thought that I was doing something to save taxes. I'm like, well, you're structured the wrong way. So now we have to unwind it. And then from unwinding it, then we have to take it and then put it back together the right way. So a C Corp is an easy example for people that just jump into a C Corp thinking that that's the thing for them, and it's really not. Where an LLC could have just been perfect for them.
Gotcha. Another question I often get from our students is, Dolmar, I already have a company. I'm not really using that company right now. And since I'm now venturing into this new industry of real estate, can I use my existing company to do real estate, to transact your real estate deals? What do you have to say about that?
Yes and no, depending on how they structure themselves, right? That's just going to be another good reason why, allow us to educate you. I mean, we're not going to unwind something that's done right. So if your student or your follower, your family has a structure that we look at and we say, yeah, no, this is exactly what you need because of where you're heading and what you're wanting to accomplish. Or we'll say, no, you can still use that, but maybe let's add a couple pieces to that. So the long and short answer is yes, they can, but maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I believe one of the reasons why I get that question a lot is because they're thinking about the age of the company. They can leverage that company to go out and get business loans and so forth.
Sure.
And so that's why they asked that question. But I wanted to know, and you're absolutely right. There's a lot of, you really don't know until you dig into it and see
Correct.
how that structure has been set up, what's going on with that company. Is there anything that could prevent them from reaching their future goals? And maybe the best plan is to start over, right? So
right. And we just don't know until we take a look at kind of where they're at.
Yeah. I'm seeing a consistent theme here in this conversation is that everybody is different. Everyone has different goals, and based on existing assets, existing resources, even if you're just getting started in this world of entrepreneurship for the first time, the point is everyone's different, and there's no one size fits all cookie cutter type of structure for everyone. So it's best to have a conversation with a professional like Carter and their team to see where you best fit. And so prior to this conversation, by the way, I was asking Carter if they would be willing to do a free consultation for our community, for our students with their team, to see if they can help our students, help anyone that's getting ready to jump into this new world of entrepreneurship, or if you already have an existing entity and so forth that you want to use, let them look at it, let them see your situation, have this conversation on the house, and see if they may be a good fit, see if they are able to help you accomplish your goals while helping you protect your assets. You got to think about this stuff now before you get deep into this as well. And so now is the time to have these conversations before you make a mistake that can cost you more, either making silly mistakes that cost you money up front or losing money on taxes that could have been by structuring.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add to that?
No, I think that's great. I mean, we're both in the space where, you have all different walks of life, different age ranges, different kind of goals. But I think it's fair to say that you and I are both here so that we can, again, all of the people watching this, the people that go to your events, the people that follow you, they reach out to you because you're the best at what you do. And so they want to know how to do it, because I think, again, it's in my professional and personal opinion and my experience is we're all trying to get to a place where we don't fear outliving our money, right? Anyway, I could go into a long conversation about that, but everyone, if they're being honest, is afraid that they're not going to make it in retirement. Yeah. We're here to build wealth, to create, to help, to be of service, to do all these things. there's just certain pieces or certain tools that we use. That's why the 1 or the 2% of people get there. They achieve that because they use the laws and the tools that the IRS, the government's put in place. We're just here to help individuals with these tools to propel them into that direction so that they can build wealth. They don't have to pay unnecessary taxes, don't have to worry about being sued and having their stuff wiped away, all that stuff. Awesome. So that you can teach them the right way investing into real estate so that they can go out and create that.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, let's say someone does want to get started with this and you've gone through the due diligence process, looking into what they have and the plan forward. How quickly can this new entity be set up with your team for this person?
We can set up in 2 days.
Well, damn. You know, I was having a conversation with someone else recently, and they were saying because of XYZ, in some situations it may take longer. So I'm glad to hear that it doesn't take that long with your group.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Depending on what it is they're wanting. I mean, we can set up an entity same day. It just depends on kind of their situation. Yes, it could be a little bit longer, it can be a little bit less, but I like to say 2 days.
Okay, perfect. And
could be longer than that though, but go ahead.
Okay, and for our international students and community specifically, we tell them that, hey, listen, there are 3 simple things that you need to get started to do business here in America. Number 1, highly recommended, although you can do it in your personal name, we highly recommend that you get an entity set up, right? A US entity.
Correct.
In addition to that, you need a US, what I call a physical but virtual address or mailbox.
Correct. Yep.
Many different services out there for that, but you need to have a physical address here in America. I recommend a virtual mailbox for that, where those services can read your mail for you, or they can scan it rather and upload your mail in a back office where you can read it virtually from anywhere in the world. They can recycle it for you. They can forward that mail to another address if you wanted to. If someone sent you a check in the mail, you close the deal, they sent you a check to that address, that service can also deposit that check in your bank account for you. So there are multiple benefits from having that service. So US entity, US address, and of course a US bank account where your money is going to be deposited into. Is there anything else you would add to that besides those 3 things for international students specifically?
Those are the main things. But again, you know, with a consultation and talking with us, we'll find out if there's some other things that individual needs. But those are the main things, and we'll walk them through that process. That's the great news. We'll tell them where to go, how to do it, all that stuff. So they're not trying to figure it out by themselves.
And also recommending the right structure, the right entity, etc.
Absolutely. Yep.
Perfect. Man, this was very helpful. You know, I think people oftentimes get scared. They overthink this stuff. And in some cases, especially depending on the person, it could be a complicated thing to discuss and dive into and to unpack to make sure that they're going down the right path. For others, this is their first time doing this. You know, they think they need a lot of these complicated things to do and set up. And sometimes it can be overwhelming. Sometimes just the thought of this keeps them stuck. They don't even want to take one step forward, which is why, again, I wanted to bring Carter on here to have this discussion with me. And you can see this is a pretty simple process. So they do all the hard work. Let Carter and his team do all the—
Let me do all the heavy lifting. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah. And the process is pretty simple, pretty easy to set up. As he's sharing with us, it's 2 days, maybe more in some unique circumstances, but 2 days or so, and you're up and running, right? So Carter, is there anything that you would like to share that I did not ask that you think everyone should know? Any important tips, ideas, or strategies that people should know before we hop off here?
I think you've covered it all. You know, when again, I talked about in the beginning, you know, something's happened where we reach out to individuals like you and we say, look, I want to know what you know, help me get into a better situation financially. So they reach out to you and your team, and you guys walk them through a process of being able to create wealth in real estate and some other things. Like you had mentioned, what you know, you just know it now, right? It's not complex, you know it, it's very simple, it makes sense to you. And so when you're teaching people, you're doing it in a way that allows them to understand it. We don't have to complicate things. And so on the entity side of things and the tax side of things, it's the same way. You know, we don't want your students or members to become tax accountants or attorneys. Like, that's what we are. Like, why do you know what I mean? So, I don't want to be a doctor. I want to go to the physician that, knows how to like fix me. I'm like, okay. So you're right. It's not complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be scary, because once right, what is fear, right? Once we understand it, the fear goes away and we're able to follow the process. So again, allow us to do the heavy lifting, allow Dolmar to do the heavy lifting on his end. And so, as long as we follow the instruction and the path and the guidance of people that have gone before us, I think we're all going to be okay.
I'm so glad you said that and shared that, because I think the same way. I don't know even a quarter of the things you know, Carter. I just don't. But it doesn't prevent.
I don't believe that to be true. I think you know way more than me in certain areas. I'm 100%.
Well, in certain areas, absolutely. But with this topic, dude, I can't hold a candle to what you know, and you are the expert in this area, and I don't need to know all of these things.
Correct.
To do what I'm doing, right? I reach out to the guy that has the answers. If I have an issue here, if I have a tax question, if I want to see if I'm launching a new business or a new idea, like, hey, Carter, here's what I want to do. Here's what I'm trying to accomplish. Here's the risks that I'm looking at. How can I structure this? How can I set up this entity the right way with the right protections, the right entities in the right states for asset protection, all those things, so I could avoid lawsuits and all of these things. How can I protect myself? And I don't know all the answers. I know enough, but I don't know everything. And so instead of staying stuck, not taking one step forward, not executing on my idea, my dream, my passion to reach my ultimate goals, I pick up the phone or I send an email to experts like Carter. Like, here's what I want to do. Can you help me see the areas or the holes in this idea? And how can I protect myself with the right entities, the right structures, et cetera, to move forward, to press that green button to launch this thing. And so while I'm not the expert in this area, I have experts. I'm surrounded by experts in the business that are my armor, my shield, my Kevlar, if you will, that protects me from costly mistakes, because I don't know what I don't know. But Carter's job is to know. And that's why I wanted to present and share Carter and his entire team with you. I wanted to bring their resources, their specialized knowledge to the table for you, so that you can tap into the exact same resources that we use. We're going to be recommending them to many others going forward, because we like the work that they do. And I trust and hope that you reach out to them. If this is something that you seriously want to do, reach out to them. They have agreed to do a free consultation for everyone in our community. I don't know where we're going to be sharing this video, so maybe the information will be below this video. Maybe you'll get an email from our team. If you're interested, you can reach out. If you're seeing this on my social media accounts, you can send me a DM. Wherever you're seeing this, just reach out. There'll be some information on how to reach out, and my team will get you the information so that you can connect with Carter and his entire team for that free consultation that they have so graciously agreed to do for all of our real family members. Carter, thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to hop on here with me to have this conversation, to share some insights that I know are going to be greatly valuable for our community, to answer some of these frequently asked questions I always get. I never felt comfortable answering myself. I wanted someone that is an expert in this area to answer these questions. Although I know enough, I wanted you to hop on here and share with our community your insights on this stuff. So thank you so much, brother, for your time.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Hey, Dolmar Cross here. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Be sure to drop a like and comment if you enjoyed it. And by the way, I have so much more amazing, sexy content coming up on real estate investing, entrepreneurship, and so much more. So be sure to subscribe, hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss another video or upload. And by the way, follow me on Instagram as well. It's Dolmar Cross on Instagram, so you don't want to miss any of my content there either. And finally, check out automatedinvestor.com if you want to learn more about real estate investing, how you can get started with no money, no credit, no real estate license, so you can also change your life and make a lot of money in the process, all right? Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.